Imagine this. You are surrounded by nothing but water. There is no land in sight, no phone, no help, and every passing day is taking you closer to death. But one man survived this exact situation not for one day, but for 66 days. All he had was a small life raft, limited supplies, and the determination to never give up. This is the story of a man who faced one of the most dangerous survival situations in the world, and still managed to return alive. In 1982, an American sailor named Stephen Callahan began a journey that would later make him part of one of the most remarkable survival stories in history. Stephen had been fascinated by the ocean and sailing since childhood. He was not just an ordinary traveler, but an experienced sailor who understood the sea, navigation, and how to handle difficult conditions. His dream was to sail alone across the ocean and complete a long voyage in a small boat he had built himself. For this journey, Stephen prepared a small sailboat called Napoleon Solo. The boat was not large, but to him, it was more than just a boat. It was a symbol of his dream. In 1982, he began his journey across the Atlantic Ocean. At first, everything went according to plan. The waves, the wind, and the endless ocean all were part of his adventure. But the ocean is never predictable. Sometimes, a peaceful journey can suddenly turn into the greatest challenge of a person's life. During the voyage, one night, something happened that changed Stephen's entire world. In the darkness of the ocean, his boat was severely damaged after hitting an unknown object. Within a short time, water began filling the boat. Stephen tried everything he could to save it, but the damage was too severe. He realized he had very little time left. At that moment, he had only one choice: either stay with the sinking boat or move into a life raft to save his life. He chose the life raft, but he had no idea that this small raft would become his entire world for the next 66 days. Thousands of miles of endless ocean surrounded him, and in the middle of it all, there was only one person. He had some limited supplies, but not enough to survive such a long time easily. Now, his battle was not only against the ocean, but also against hunger, thirst, loneliness, harsh weather, and his own fears. And the biggest question was, could a human being really survive alone in the middle of the ocean for such a long time? The journey had only just begun, and the real test was still ahead. Stephen Callahan was now in a small life raft, having escaped from his sinking boat. What was once a journey of freedom and adventure had now become a battle between life and death. All around him was nothing but water. No island in sight. No ships. No people. Only an endless ocean, and a small raft floating in the middle of it. During the first few days, Stephen focused on understanding his situation. He knew that if he panicked, the ocean would defeat him. So he began organizing everything he had. He had limited food supplies, fishing equipment, a small solar still that could help produce drinkable water from seawater, and some essential survival gear. But the biggest problem was, he had no idea how long this journey would last. In the ocean, the greatest enemy is not only hunger, but also the lack of fresh water. A human can survive for some time without food, but life becomes extremely difficult without clean water. Stephen began collecting rainwater. Whenever clouds appeared, he prepared his raft to collect and store as much water as possible. For him, rain was not just weather. It was a chance to survive. Days continued to pass. The intense heat of the sun during the day, the loneliness at night, and the endless ocean around him were constantly testing him. Sometimes, powerful waves shook the raft dangerously. At other times, strong winds pushed him far away from his intended direction. He had to constantly work to keep his small raft safe. Even a small mistake could put his life in danger. But Stephen refused to give up. He knew that physical strength alone would not be enough. He also had to keep his mind strong. He kept himself busy, repaired his equipment, tried to catch fish, and continued thinking about the future. Because in the ocean, sometimes the most dangerous thing is not the waves, but loneliness. As time passed, his body also began to suffer. Limited food, constant sunlight, and harsh conditions started weakening him. But every passing day was a victory. One more day alive. One more day of keeping hope alive. While drifting through the ocean, he faced many dangers. Sharks, stormy waves, and dangerous weather were always present. Sometimes, he felt that perhaps no one would ever find him. But there was one thing he never abandoned: hope. This 66-day journey was not just a test of physical survival. It was a test of the human mind, courage, and endurance. A man who once sailed across the ocean in a boat was now completely separated from the world on a tiny raft. But his struggle was not over yet, because he still had more days to survive in the middle of the ocean, and he had no idea when rescue would finally come. The days kept passing, and Stephen Callahan was still drifting across the open ocean, fighting for his life in that tiny life raft. He was thousands of miles away from the rest of the world, but his will to survive was still alive. Every morning brought a new question. Would he survive another day? Would anyone ever find him? Or would the ocean become his final resting place? During those 66 days, Stephen faced more than just the forces of nature. He also had to win the battle inside his own mind. Loneliness can break a person from within. When there is no one to talk to, no one to help you, and nothing around you except endless silence and open water, holding on to hope becomes the greatest challenge of all. But Stephen refused to give up. He worked constantly to keep his life raft in good condition. He caught fish whenever he could, collected rainwater, and used his limited supplies with extreme care. Every decision he made could mean the difference between life and death. As time passed, his body grew weaker. He lost a significant amount of weight, and the relentless sun and harsh conditions took a heavy toll on him. But his mind remained focused on one goal: stay alive, because he believed that as long as he didn't give up, help would eventually come. Then one day, after 66 long days, the moment he had been waiting for finally arrived. In the distance, he spotted a fishing boat, a boat that could change his life forever. Stephen used every bit of strength he had left to get their attention. It was the moment he had waited more than 2 months for. At last, he was rescued. A man many might have believed would never return had survived 66 days alone at sea and finally stepped back onto land. His body was weak, but his story was extraordinary. He proved that the human will to survive can be far stronger than we ever imagined. Stephen Callahan's story is not just about surviving in the ocean. It is a story of preparation, determination, patience, and hope. After the ordeal, he shared the lessons he learned from his survival experience and told his incredible story in a book. The man who drifted alone across the ocean for 66 days finally made it home, and his journey became one of the most inspiring real-life survival stories ever recorded. A reminder that even when everything seems lost, hope and determination can still carry a person through the impossible. This was the incredible survival story of Stephen Callahan.